One of the main reasons that artists struggle to build a drawing habit that feels easy is because of the initial discomfort of sitting down to draw. I'm sure that you've experienced this where you want to sit down and draw, but there's that initial 5 to 10 minutes where things just don't click in. That's why some nights where you overcome those feelings, that initial hurdle, it becomes so easy to draw that whole night because it's just the beginning of it that's actually difficult. I'm sure that you had certain nights where inspiration strikes you and you're just drawing a ton, and then 2 days later you're like, why was that so easy back then? But then today there's that initial hurdle that I can't overcome. Now, a lot of people who focus heavily on the discipline side of things will just say that you need to become comfortable with that discomfort. You just have to overcome that feeling by getting used to it. Just get used to the feeling. Now, if that worked for you, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. I assume that for you, that probably doesn't work. For some people that works. Just get used to the discomfort or whatever. Like that works for a lot of people. And sometimes I have to use that tactic on myself, but I don't think that is the best way to develop a drawing habit. I don't think that that's the way to really make things easy. If you want to build a drawing habit that feels easy, ultimately what I think you need to do is develop a vision for your art practice that's so inspiring that you don't even notice the negative feelings. You have to override the negative feelings with a ton of inspiration. Now, that doesn't mean to sit around and just wait for inspiration to strike. You should actually sit down and try to develop a vision for what your art can look like and what things you're including in your art that will make it inspiring enough so that drawing every day just becomes easier. Instead of trying to get used to things being hard, how about we make this as easy as possible by making it as meaningful as possible? So right now, sit down in your sketchbook and ask yourself, what things matter to me? Not just aesthetically, but in my life. What things actually have meaning in my life? What things do I want to include in the art practice that would make it feel fulfilling? What is it that I'm trying to express? What is it that I'm trying to connect to that will make it inspiring for me to sit down and draw? Now, if you get really clear on what it is that inspiration is and why you make the art, then you can focus on that feeling every time you want to sit down and draw, instead of focusing on the discomfort of I have to do these studies and stuff. All those studies and practice things that you do, drawing exercises, would be so much easier if there's a real core reason for why you do it. If the reason that you sit down to draw is to connect deeply with the beauty of nature, that connection that you had in childhood, if that's why you draw, then it becomes so much easier to sit down and draw because you're focused on that feeling. You're focused on why this matters to you and why it's important to you. I think that this is something that's missing a lot in the art YouTube space because we focus so heavily on drawing exercises, and I'm always guilty of that myself. But I do think that we need to focus a little bit more heavily on the reasons why we do this. It's not a given why you make art. I think sitting down and finding the clarity of why you do it can really make drawing way easier. If you're working on building a drawing habit and you're struggling currently, really sit down and ask yourself, do you know why? And for some of you, you might already know, you might already have this figured out. But I do think that the clearer you can be around why you do it, the easier it will be to sit down and draw. If you want my help with this, check out the Inner Artist course where we really focus in on this. This is one of the main things that we talk about in that course. Because in my 20s, I really wish that I had someone guide me through this stuff. I wish someone sat me down and really questioned why I was doing this, what matters to you, not just aesthetically, right? So even though we build a project outline and a style guideline, I don't want it to be just about aesthetics. It's also about messaging, reasoning, what matters to you in your life outside of the art. These things are truly what the art should be about. Art shouldn't just be about copying beautiful artists, which obviously that is also valuable. It's also something that we talk about in the course. We talk about building an inspiration board and figuring out what things style-wise we want to do. That's obviously important. But also ask yourself, what is the deeper message? What are themes that really resonate with you? Right? What movies do you watch that resonate deeply with you so that you can take some of that messaging, because the reason it resonates with you is because it's within you as well, right? If a theme really stands out within movies or just in life, if there's certain things that really stand out to you, it's because it's within you, and that's why you should tap into those feelings and try to express them. So if you are struggling to draw on a regular basis, really sit down, question why you do it. What can you include in the art practice to make it more beautiful? Make it as beautiful as possible so that the struggle isn't as hard. And whenever you are ready, I'll see you in the Inner Artist course. And if you had the fundamentals bundle, I updated it. There's new videos, new lessons in there. So go check that out if you have that bundle.